How will your party satisfy the need for additional housing in the South East without adding to the congestion in Hartley Witney and the surrounding area?
Questions for Barry again?
Well, I could be on the facetious answer is put it somewhere else, but this actually seems to be an area where there is, and I can't imagine why, that people actually want to live. Yeah. It's clear that there is a need for more housing in the area. I'm afraid to say that at the moment, both of my children decide they want to be capital city residents, but I guess there'll come a point in their life where they realise that they don't want the excitement of a capital city anymore. They want to come and live in the quieter areas, and they will be the sort of people who will increase demand for living in this sort of area. Now, Hartley Witney is, or Hart District as a whole, seems to be a bit of a magnet. People want to live here. People want to live here because there are a lot of good jobs in this area. And so I can't actually see that there's an easy way of saying adding to the congestion in Hartley Witney, because there is a demand for places to live around here. It's the way the market is.
Yes, right. Well, housing portfolio, that's what I shadow at Woking Council. And in my experience, most people have no objection to additional housing, as long as there is the infrastructure to support it, and that has to go hand in hand. So in terms of the planning applications that you get from developers, you have to ensure that they have the adequate plans to support the infrastructure, the schools, and all of those factors have to come into consideration in the planning process. What does irk me is how central government can overrule planning decisions made by councillors locally, because local people do know best about what they want for their area and how their area should develop. So when councils are put under pressure or are overruled through appeal and then are forced to accept developments, that is a great concern of mine, and this is across the South East as well. We do need the additional housing because there is a case where there are people who benefited, say, from developments in the past but don't want others to have because they want things to stay as they are. And of course, obviously, there is that natural tendency for that. But as long as people are brought together and decisions are reached between those people who have and those people who have not, then, and as long as the infrastructure is there and guarantees of the infrastructure are there, then you know, most people don't have a problem with the housing. My other concern is, and I certainly have seen this in Fleet, where decisions were made and about the developments of Fleet, and you do not have enough secondary school places to meet the demand, and that is a very big problem over there. And basically, developers haven't come up with the money to help and assist in the funding of those schools. So there has to be tighter controls and tighter.
We need to be able to keep communities together. And we have a dilemma here. People don't want the wonderful countryside that we have decided to come and live in destroyed, and yet we do want to have our families living within relatively easy reach of us. And the two are very difficult to reconcile. It is the most important issue in this constituency, and it may always be the most important issue. But my answer to how would we satisfy the need for additional housing is I would not trust the government, because at the moment the government is imposing lots of housing targets on our area. We've got another 4,000 houses that are going to have to be found places for around here. And it's not the government that should be telling us what to do in that respect. It's people who live here who know what the pressures are. It's local councillors, I believe, local people, who ought to make these very difficult decisions. So I would trust the people rather than Whitehall, which is why I was made particularly angry by what happened in Dilly Lane. It's why I was made particularly angry with what happened at Pystock, with what happened in Bramley, when local people, local councils, made a decision one way, the inspector came along and made a decision the same way, and then the minister overturned it. I agree with Denzil about what he says about the need for infrastructure. You've got to have infrastructure including schools. But central diktat does not work. We know that because we've had the central diktat, and this last year we've had the lowest number of houses built in this country since 1924.
Thank you.